Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lorena Creole, and of course, so glad that you are here. And this is the Theme Park Geeks and Divas podcast. And well, my friends, if they have time, they drop in when time allows them to. For some on the West Coast, it's a bit hard for them to get here, so hey, the show goes on, we talk, and hey, soon as our friends are able and they drop in, we just bring them on the panel. So I'm so glad all of you are here with me this evening. It is a lovely high 80s here in Orlando and loving it. And finally, got some news today that now annual pass holders will not have to need a reservation to enter the parks after 2 p.m., except on weekends for the Magic Kingdom. So, yeah, thanks for the perk that didn't really cost Disney anything to do in the first place. So, you know, nice gesture, but give us something we can use like a bigger discount on merchandise. And to be able to use our annual passes for discounts at quick service locations, that would help a lot of folks out. But, I'm not running Disney, right? So let's see. We have Goof R35 in the house who says, hey there. Well, hello to you, my dear. Good seeing you. Very good to see you. We've got Rebel Dragon in the house. Hello to Rebel Dragon. How you doing? And good to see you. And I'm loving that avatar. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. So cute. And Dylan C is here, says, hey, Lorena, and hey, panel. Well, hello. And Tina Bojan says, good evening, friends. Well, good evening and good to see you. And did you manage to get one of those plush Loki gators that went back on sale recently on Shop Disney? So I'm hoping you managed to get one, especially since you missed out the first time. So I'm hoping that you did. All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and get to rolling. Please do hit that like button and share the stream. And if you are watching this on the replay, probably because you're rushing to get your taxes done, if you're here in the US, I get it. It's okay. It's all right. So I'll tell you what, we'll start with our first story, a little teaser story, before we get into the main topic of the show. And the main topic of the show, there is a rumor, and I stress rumor, that Frontierland at Walt Disney World will get rethemed to New Orleans. So a rumor, but it's got some legs, so we're gonna talk about that. You didn't get a large one? Oh man. But you got a small one, or you just didn't get anything at all? I'm sad to hear you missed out on that, because that big Loki Gator was just 100% for you. All right, so first article we're gonna show you guys here. In case you didn't know, it is halfway to Halloween. So why is this a big deal? Well, one, apparently it's a nice gimmick that Disney uses to bring out the Halloween treats and stuff to kind of entice you to say, hey, don't you want to consider going to one of our super expensive Halloween events? Which I am actually going to go to again, because I will say most definitely, if there was any ticketed Disney event that was worth the money now that they brought it back, it would be, at least at Walt Disney World, the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. It is definitely worth it. And I know Halloween time out at Disneyland was amazing. I've tried that before too. But anyway, so there's treats out, disrespectful treats It's all collated thanks to our friends over at Clownfish TV, Geeky Sparkles. So basically, they have this Madame Leota chocolate cake, which hopefully I will get the chance to try over at the Contemporary. So just wanted to show you guys this. It looks delicious. It looks disrespectful, and I so can't wait to try it. Goofar35 says, even though it's a rumor, retheming is nothing new to Disney, so it's at least likely. So why don't we jump into it, shall we? So first going to go with this article from our friends over at the Park Place, WDW Pro and his crew. You can also catch me on Pro's live show on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. Walt's vision of Frontierland may be drastically altered by Disney leadership. Now, I first heard about this from a video over from Braden of Mickey Views, and I'll actually flip over to that way a little bit. But I first heard about it from there, about that possible retheme, and listening to him and considering what they've already started doing with Splash Mountain, I can see why they're going that way for two reasons. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. Dylan C says it's halfway to Halloween. It's from nowish to mid-May. Yep, it is a big deal in the parks here. And hello, Jillian says, greeting, lovely Lorena, and all in the chat. Yay, Neon and Geeky. Yeah, Neon and Geeky are awesome. When I get a chance, if I'm out taking photos at the parks, I will usually send those to Neon and to Geeky, and you can see them up on Pirates and Princesses. So definitely do check out their website. So yeah, I don't know how many of you in the chat have been to, number one, to Frontierland, whether it be in Disneyland or whether it be in Walt Disney World. But I do know that for me, going to Frontierland, it's like, I want to say it's kind of like going to Williamsburg, kind of, sort of. But it's a throwback to a time in America where people took risks, risks with their fortunes, risks with their lives, risks with their families. And there's always that appeal of the Wild West. And to Walt Disney, his idea was that the Wild West, or the West, you want to call it, was the true spirit of America, which is why when you go to Walt Disney World, when you start at Liberty Square, where the Hall of Presidents is, and you walk over the river of Pooh, and you start to see the transition from the 1700s to the late 1800s as you go through Frontierland. You've got, the shooting gallery, all of that cool stuff. And remember when they used to sell, the smoked turkey legs? That was the thing with my family, doing the smoked turkey legs. But even more so, just that whole spirit of Americana, they had Tom Sawyer Island. To me, Tom Sawyer Island, it was like the Tom Sawyer books that I read, Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, those books, as quote unquote problematic as some of them may think that they are, having that whole island there brought those books to life, especially when you see like the whitewashed, fence and all of that. It's freaking, it's just a wonderful thing, to see. And my parents, my grandparents, they would all talk about like the Wild West serials that they would see on television, like the Lone Ranger. They'd see stuff like that. I would say even things more recent, like say Young Guns, Unforgiven, Tombstone. You got Yellowstone that's on streaming, and another show called Hell on Wheels. So the Wild West is something that's fundamental to American history. Let's see. Jillian said, I heard a rumor that Walt is cryogenically frozen somewhere. On the off chance that's true, isn't it time to thaw him out? Um, I don't know if he would want to be thawed out to see what's going on. For real. Uh it's with what's going on with the park, it's like it's not. If we did thaw him out, he'd probably beg to be thawed again, honestly. And wasn't that in The Simpsons? I think there was a Simpsons episode where they, they found Walt Disney's cryogenically frozen head. And Dylan C says, we don't need a New Orleans Square in Walt Disney World. Sorry, not sorry. That's a Disneyland thing. And it's interesting that you point that out because you're right. At Disneyland, there's New Orleans Square. That kind of threw me off when I went there. So if you wanted to have a Tiana's Bayou attraction, which should have been a brand new attraction from, from the beginning, it fits over there at Disneyland with New Orleans Square. So why put a New Orleans Square in Walt Disney World? I'm going to talk about that in a little bit as to possibly why they're going to try to do it and why, hear me out, why it could possibly fit, but still be problematic. Hey, Zachariah315 says, howdy, Lorena. It's not showing you are live. Really? But I did get a notification. I got a notification I was going live too. That is weird. It's not showing me as live. That's kind of weird. Well, YouTube's been doing some really, really, really weird stuff. So I'm seeing myself as as live in the back, but no worries. Thanks for letting me know. Rambam 3000, hello, says according to Razor Fist, the Wild West wasn't that wild in Hale. Oh, really? That's what Razor Fist says? Razor Fist says a lot of things I don't agree with, so he's entitled to his opinion. Depends on what you mean about wild. Now, if you're going by Hollywood standards, hey, come on. You can't expect Hollywood to portray what realistically happened. Because if Hollywood portrayed what realistically happened with the Wild West, they would have also shown what the percentage of cowboys who actually were Black. They didn't show them. Yeah. Check out that Mario Van Peebles movie. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name, but yeah, cowboy flick. Show Black cowboys, and at the end of the movie, actually showed black and white footage of Black cowboys. If you watch Hollywood's depiction, you would think that none of the cowboys were ever Black. However, that was actually true, especially in Latin America, especially in the Spanish Caribbean, especially for those of African descent that came from, let's see, I want to say like Senegal, where the river culture, cattle culture, they called them vaqueros. Yes, that's what they were called. So, thank you, Rambam 3000 Posse. Yes, Posse. That's a good freaking movie. Oh my God, a good 1990s movie directed by Mario Van Peebles. His father, Melvin Van Peebles of Blaxploitation movie fame, is in that movie as well. And yeah, that was an awesome movie. And says, and I think he means violent. Okay, yeah. In that case, I agree. You can't go by what Hollywood's gonna tell you. Obviously not. Let's see. We have got, yeah, Deadwood does too. Deadwood. There's still, the West is ripe for how many stories. So I love Frontierland. It's just fun. It's a great experience. Hey, Keely Chow, Roll Tide, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. And Jillian says, okay, yeah, all right. Now that we got the context right, yes, I do agree with that point. Wild West has those giant mechanical spiders. When did they have giant mechanical spiders? Did I miss that movie? I must have missed that flick. Dylan C says black and Mexican cowboys. Yes. Yes. Do you also know that in American history, when the Revolutionary War was going on, and Spain wasn't officially backing the Patriots, there was a cattle drive from Texas, which was under Spanish control, from Texas through Spanish Louisiana all the way to New Orleans so they could ship the cattle up the Mississippi River through the back lines to get to the Patriots to feed them. Yeah, yeah. Look up Bernardo de Galvez. Look that up. Hey, Alan, how you doing? Says the West ain't woke unless it's the West Coast. Good to see you, my dear. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. I miss you being on up. Miss you being on the show. You mean insecticons? Yes, insecticons in your case. Sunning and Brave Megatron. Yes. Yes. Rainbow 3000 says Lorena Creole, there were black and Indian lawmen too. Yes. The West is a lot more diverse than Hollywood will give credence to. Oh, another Western. Granted, one of the stars is a little problematic right now, on Netflix, called The Harder They Fall, starring Idris Elba and Jonathan Majors. So on Netflix. That's another one, more recent Western to check out. Hey, D Nice Gamer. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Well, let's read a little bit of this article from That Park Place to kind of give you guys a little bit more background on just what is going on. There's 16 of you folks in here. We're talking about the rumor, which, hey, Retheme of Splash Mountain was a rumor. However, there's a rumor that Frontierland may be drastically altered by Disney leadership and turn it into New Orleans. So I'm going to talk about, go through this article a little bit, and I'm going to talk about how changing it to New Orleans, in a way, it would make sense, and in a way, it would also be problematic. So we're going to get to that in a little bit. So, of course, there's a lot of history with respect to Frontierland, which I talked to you guys about. It's one of the lands in Disney World that is so much a reflection of Walt's vision. And there's a Frontierland in Disneyland, and I'm probably going to get some hate mail, but I love Disneyland. It is superior to the Magic Kingdom. However, we have the better Frontierland. I will definitely tell you that. And what they put after they put Splash Mountain in, of course, Splash Mountain was one of the must-dos that you had to get. That was the thing. You got your turkey leg, you rode Big Thunder Mountain, you got on Splash Mountain, and then you went over to the to the Country Bears as well. Just all that Western immersion, it was great, and there was a theme to that. But apparently, we all know what happened. Were plans to change Splash Mountain from Song of the South, which was deemed problematic. They never sent a survey out. You just had a group known as the Story Matters Group. You can look up who they are, who decided the ride's problematic. Now, I would give Disney more credit if they would have just said, you know what, we just want to use our IP and retheme it to something else. People would be upset, understandably so. But I think the more outrage comes from the fact that Disney tried to do this to make it seem like they're such good people. And that's the hubris. That makes a lot of people angry about it, including myself. But as you can see right here, and this is recent, how they're basically retheming Splash Mountain. They're doing all the construction. It's nothing the way that it used to look like. And it's going to be rethemed to Princess and the Frog. Princess and the Frog, themed to Tiana, with a theme that I will say has a bit of a Marxist flavor to it, which I do not appreciate. But that's what they're going with. So you've got Tiana's Bayou Adventure. You've got a New Orleans themed ride around a mountain that they're going to retheme to like a salt mine, considering there was a salt mine in New Orleans on Avery Island that was, that actually had actual slaves working in it. Yeah, that was kind of problematic. So you've got that next to Big Thunder Mountain. I'm actually going to switch over here and I'll let you guys look at this lovely, lovely Google Maps representation here in a little bit. Let's see. Hey, Chef Nation, I see you there. I see you there. I hope you and Little Chef are doing great. Hope you and Little Chef are doing awesome. And D Nice Gamer says Western remakes of the Magnificent Seven. That's one. And 310 to Yuma is good. And Bone Tomahawk was an interesting one. Yeah. The Magnificent Seven is my favorite. Big Rock Candy Mountain. Big Rock Candy Mountain. More like Big Gumbo Mountain. Or is it going to be Big Salt Mountain? I'm never going to let Disney live that down about that whole salt mine thing. Dylan C says, personally, WDW ties with Disneyland Paris for Frontierland. Interesting. Largely due to where you can explore Phantom Manor, which is analogous to a Haunted Mansion, but I heard it's actually better, and Thunder Mountain. Okay. I haven't been to Disneyland Paris, so thank you for letting me know. That's so cool. Hey, Fatal J, Fatal, how you doing, my dear? Says how much for your tour guide service? You know what? For Dark Council buds, just buy me dinner. Just buy me dinner. But yeah, I may have to start coming up with tour guide prices and stuff. No new worries. Thanks, Fatal. Keep reminding me about doing that. And Goofar35 says Tiana is going to hire the 7 dwarves to mine her salt mine. I gotta tell you, it's the fact that they came up with that and thought that basing Splash Mountain on Song of the South was a problem is just flipping beyond me. Show big mountains and they'll throw beads. Yes. Although that will get you arrested in New Orleans. But just to kind of show you guys, so you have your Splash Mountain temporarily closed, of course, which is right here. And then you've got Big Thunder Mountain. So you're going to go from New Orleans, some weird kind of New Orleans thing, to Big Thunder Mountain, which is in the Southwest. That doesn't make any sense, right? It makes absolutely zero sense. But that's what they're going to do with Splash Mountain. So now that you've got Splash Mountain right here, themed to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, what the rumor is, and this is actually over from Mickey View, so go follow his channel. What they're planning to do is to turn this here into New Orleans to go with Tiana's Bayou, excuse me, adventure theme. Now, you're probably thinking, why are they going to do that? Because this part here is part of Frontierland. So if you guys remember, when you're in Liberty Square and you get to the 1800s, okay, You've got, let's see, what is it that you've got? You've got the Country Bears Jamboree. Yes, that is up for retheme, rumored to be up for retheme. The Country Bears Jamboree, why people think that's why this story matters group thinks that it's problematic, I have no idea. I can't see what's so offensive about bear animatronics that kind of reminds you of Chucky from Chuck E. Cheese just singing country songs. Although maybe Big Al singing his chorus about blood on the saddle and the line about one of the bears getting whipped by his mother, I'm guessing that's probably a problem. I don't know. But either way, the Country Bears is just a fun, innocent show. But apparently that is up for retheme. The other thing that's also up for retheme, let me show you guys up here, is the Pecos Bill Tall Tale Inn. Now, I'm already PO'd about the Country Bears possibly being changed. Now, if I trusted Imagineering to do a good job, I wouldn't be worried. But I do not trust Imagineering here of late, considering how many great Imagineers are gone. Pecos Bill's Tall Tale Inn and Cafe, with the theming and everything, where you could get, your burgers and your chili burgers and all the Western fixins, and they also have like Tex-Mex cuisine in there as well, was one of the most cool places to get something to eat at a pretty reasonable price. So the rumor is they're going to retheme this to Tiana. So you're going to see a Tiana's place instead. Now, it makes sense because if you want to retheme Splash Mountain to the Bayou, hey, at least have the restaurant that's in the movie, right? So supposedly they're going to retheme Pecos Bills as well. Imagineers were seen there, I want to say a few weeks ago or so. But it's something that really doesn't need to be changed, but doesn't matter what we want. So it looks like they're going to change it to Tiana's Place. I believe there's already plans for Tiana's Place in Disneyland. So most notably, they'll just renovate Pecos Bills and just have it be an exact duplicate. So it fits in with the theming. You've got the big e-ticket attraction that they're going to redo. Then you've got, of course, the gift shops and stuff that they're going to have under there. And then you have the restaurant, of course, to complete that particular experience. Goof435 says, last time I checked, Southwest Texas is not near New Orleans unless there is some secret river that connects them. And you're absolutely right. Southeast Texas is what's near New Orleans, and Southeast Texas is more like Louisiana, as opposed to the desert Southwest. So that doesn't make sense, but stay with me because there's going to be a Pirates of the Caribbean connection that I'm going to tell you guys about. Peter finally caught up with the Country Bear Jamboree. But here's another reason why I don't want them messing with the Country Bear Jamboree. If you guys remember a Goofy movie, okay, if you ever remember a Goofy movie, they made fun, spoofing themselves with the Country Bear Jamboree, and it was called the Possum? Oh my gosh. The Possum Jam, I think it was the Possum Jamboree. But either way, they just totally made fun of the Country Bears Jamboree. So they better not mess with them. I heard that supposedly they're going to swap them out and bring in new animatronics. That's something that Braden of Mickey View says in his video. But just because they're new animatronics doesn't mean that the same spirit of the Country Bear show that people have come to love for decades is still there. Dylan C says Iger ruined Disney. You're not wrong. You're really not wrong about that. Really not wrong about that. Goof435 says the only offensive thing about the Country Bears was their movie, and most people forgot that even happened. Dude, I forgot about that myself. I totally forgot the Country Bears had a movie. Totally missed that. Yeah, it's not like people went, yeah, you don't. You don't. Just watch a Goofy movie and watch the part where they go to the possum jamboree. Okay. Just just watch that. That's actually funny. They can change Frontierland once they do the expansion beyond Thunder Mountain. We're actually going to talk about that in a little bit as well. The so-called quote unquote desert land. We're going to talk about that in a little bit as well. Rambam 3000, what's wrong with Pecos Bills? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Pecos Bills inside looks like your typical, we'll say, reproduction of an eatery in the Wild West. It's kind of similar to something you would see at Six Flags in a way, and I cannot remember what the heck that restaurant was. But it's all Western theming inside, Southwest Tex-Mex cuisine. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. As a matter of fact, Pecos Bills is a favorite restaurant of bargain conscious, budget conscious tourists to Walt Disney World because the pricing isn't really that bad and the food you get a good amount. It's a very popular eatery for the theming and fits directly right in there with Frontierland. The only thing I got mad about was when Disney took away the turkey leg, the smoked turkey leg. You guys remember the smoked turkey leg cart? I'm mad they didn't put that food option in Pecos Bills. But other than that, Pecos Bills is a great, great place to eat. And I'm so not happy about them potentially monkeying around with it and giving it a New Orleans theme because your girl, as you guys know, Creole. My father's side of my family is from New Orleans, that area. So you want authentic New Orleans food. Whoever's making the food at the Port Orleans Resort, they better be making it over here if they retheme this to Tiana's Place. If not, they're going to get clowned. Dylan C says also, how will they connect it to Thunder Mountain? Thunder Mountain dead ends into the back of Splash Mountain Q and the rivers of America. Um, how will they connect it to Thunder Mountain? You know what? That is a logistical problem actually that Braden talks about in the video. So a lot of this is this blue sky thinking. They kind of put it up there, just like we're just putting the idea out there. We haven't exactly thought about how to do that. So they need to figure that out. Hello, Dragon Master 360 says too many great streams to watch right now. Hello, Lorena and all. Well, so good to see you. So good to see you, my dear. Appreciate you being here. Yes, there are a lot of streams, so I'm just so happy that you had a chance to drop by here. And Ellen says, have you heard the You Must Remember This podcast about the Song of the South? It's pretty fair in presenting both sides without taking a side. No, I have not. So I will definitely have to check that out. Definitely have to check that out. You must remember this podcast. Let's see. If Frontierland was as popular as Galaxy's Edge, then I can understand the retheming. As it is right now, it would start as a great financial loss. And yes, yeah, Frontierland is very, very popular. Very popular. And there's the Country Bears Jamboree that's right there. Um, When the Magic Kingdom is packed, as it often is, it is a sea of humanity walking through here. People are not in a hurry to leave. There's a shooting gallery that's back over this way, which is now free. You used to have to pay for that, you know. So the shooting gallery is still there for now. Then there used to be the turkey leg carts over here to the left, but they don't have them anymore. It's like the merchant stuff that's out. But people love going over here. You can go over to Tom Sawyer Island, the Country Bears Jamboree. You just have fun walking around. It's extremely busy and a very popular area, especially when you get up to where Splash Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain are. That's a huge bottleneck. It's usually full of people that are up there. The only time I've ever seen this area like a ghost town was Splash Mountain was down and Big Thunder Mountain was down. So it's upsetting to think about. So anyway, as I was saying, the rumor is they want to retheme New Orleans. Now, hear me out with this. That part of that part of Frontierland that runs into Adventureland. So basically, you're going to have New Orleans. I'm sorry, I keep flipping around here. Basically, what you're going to have is Splash Mountain. This whole area over here, themed to New Orleans, then it's going to feed into Adventureland where Pirates of the Caribbean is. Now, here is why this actually makes sense, but I don't know if I want to give Imagineering credit for thinking of this. Part of the Gulf of Mexico, if you look at a map, the Gulf of Mexico empties out into the Caribbean as well. You've got like the Yucatan, you've got that area that also goes up the coastline on, Southeast Texas, Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, all the way across the Redneck Riviera in Florida, down to the southern tip of Florida. So having Pirates of the Caribbean meld into a New Orleans area would actually make sense. That would actually make sense if they did it. I don't know if they're going to be completely separate or if they put them together, but New Orleans, Caribbean, same church, different pews, so to speak. So it is possible to have all of those actually fit together. One problematic thing about New Orleans that you're not going to hear from the Story Matters group. Remember how I told you guys, and you guys have found out, that the retheme of Splash Mountain, they're kind of basing that on a salt mine that was worked by actual slaves. Okay. Do you know what the biggest slave market was in America? New Orleans. Yep. From New Orleans, that's where you had slaves sold there. They went to the US. They also went to the Spanish Caribbean and South America and Mexico. But you're probably not going to hear about that. So again, problematic. Alan says, I'm interested to see how Disneyland will explain Winnie the Pooh now being in New Orleans Square. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. It's it's like here, and here's my thing. It's like I don't see how, if you're going to do a reimagining or, updates, don't you want all the areas to flow correctly? I'd love to hear that too. I don't know how they're gonna change that. Rambam 3000 says, no way Disney is going to tell you about that. Oh, and I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done. Not done at all. All right. So that's what we're going to do there. So, another thing, first of all, thank you guys so much for being here. You guys hanging out with me. I'm talking about this rumored retheme. But actually it's not just Frontierland, supposedly. Another thing that they're planning on doing is coming up with this new southwestern land. And this is actually from Braden's video. I'm trying to get to the map that I wanted to find. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Daggone it. I waited too long. Hang on. Let me get this and I'll get it back to you. But anyway, supposedly there is a desert land that they're going to propose. And the reason for that is, remember we talked about Big Thunder Mountain, what they were going to do with that, and how if they go, and not if, because they are, with retheming Splash Mountain to Tiana, the theme to Tiana, what are they going to do about Big Thunder Mountain? Okay, so here we go. You have Big Thunder Mountain here, supposedly staying, and then you have this desert-themed land that they're talking about, right? So for desert-themed land, they're talking about Coco, of course, from Mexico, and Encanto from Colombia. Now, let me say this much. Granted, people make jokes about Americans not knowing geography. From what I know about my family's history in Colombia, Colombia does not have desert. And part of Colombia, if I got this straight, and I believe I do, part of Colombia is bordered by the Gulf of Mexico, which also includes Mexico. So Mexico, yes, there's part of Mexico that's desert, that's Southwest Mexico, of course. Colombia is extremely green and technically the Caribbean. They call it South America, but technically Caribbean. So I don't see how you can put Encanto behind Big Thunder Mountain. Yes, I know, maybe because there are mountains in Colombia. I do know that. I'm aware of that. But that doesn't quite seem to fit, if you ask me. Alan says Pirates and Haunted Mansion are part of New Orleans Square at Disneyland, so Pirates works. Yes, that's the first thing that I noticed when I visited Disneyland, is that the Haunted Mansion you had Pirates of the Caribbean, of course, which makes sense. Your Haunted Mansion is modeled after, I would say, like a Southern plantation mansion. So if you watch the Haunted Mansion movie with Eddie Murphy, okay, granted, it's not peak cinema, but it's funny. That is modeled off of your standard Louisiana plantation mansion. So that works. Absolutely perfect. Especially as New Orleans had its share of pirates. Jean Lafitte, aka Juan Lafitte. Yeah, lots of pirate history there. So all of that works. So it's very possible that if they do retheme Frontierland to New Orleans, Pirates of the Caribbean, that would actually work together. So they want to, because there's been a lot of talk about bringing Coco and Encanto in, and I'm just kind of like, it's possible to do it. However, Coco and Encanto are also, in a way, problematic due to where they are located. So I'm going to show you guys something. Let me switch to over here. Okay. You guys see that? One of the things that I've learned with researching my family's history as being of Creole descent is finding out that over 3/4 of African slaves were um, that were taken from Africa were sent to Mexico and South America and the Spanish Caribbean. What do we got up here? We got Colombia and we have Mexico. Now, this is the Slave Society's digital archive, which is located Vanderbilt University. One of the historians, Jane Landers, did a lot of work between this and also work in records from Spanish Florida. So there is a lot of history, slave manifests, even free Africans as well. All of that history, which ties to Colombia also and Mexico as well. So why am I saying all this? One, Disney is not going to tell you this. And two, the danger is when you have groups like Stories Matter going around making the choice for you that certain rides are quote unquote problematic. They didn't ask anyone. And then again, what's next? What's next? First it was Jungle Cruise. What was wrong with Jungle Cruise? Nothing. It was just cheesy. It was dated, but everybody knew that. But that was a problem. So they decided that could be offensive and culturally insensitive. So they got rid of that. Now you have Splash Mountain. That's being redone. So where does it end? And instead, you've got attractions not being built for entertainment or maintained for their history. You're getting them redone to cater to who you think is being offended. Like, I've taken plenty of surveys at Disney. I have never been asked, were there rides that I found offensive? I've never been asked that at all. So that's interesting. So even with that all aside, if they come up with Coco and Encanto, those are two films. Coco is actually infinitely better. I will tell you, I love that movie. There's nothing to stop them from doing this, but I'm not really excited about it. Right now it's blue sky. All of this is quote unquote blue sky, except for the retheme of Splash Mountain. But who knows what could possibly wind up coming out of this? And is it even necessary? But in a way, it's kind of like, a snowball going downhill. Started with Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Now it looks like they're going to have to change those things. So again, rumor, this is not gospel, but what it is showing you are these changes that are being done. And I have to ask the question, it's almost like, is it really Walt's vision anymore? Things aren't being, it seems like to me it's changed just for the sake of change because a certain group of people chose to be offended on behalf of people they didn't ask, or seemingly that they didn't ask. Rambam 3000 says this is Disney's version of Martin Niemöller's First They Came For. Yes, you can look that up. First they came for X and I didn't speak up. Then they came for Y and I didn't speak up. Then they came for Z and I didn't speak up. And then they came for me and there was no one to speak up for me. So Yeah. It's it's like I said, it's interesting. You guys let me know your thoughts. You guys know I'm not too keen on the retheme of Splash Mountain, not really by any means. I can see Disney wanting to update things. It's like you want to update things, it's fine, but don't update them on the premise of it's offending someone. I would give you more credit to basically say, you know what, we just want to make more money from our IP. I'd give them more credit if they did that. Alan says this was part of Josh D'Amaro's Blue Sky riffing at D23. It will be placed beyond Big Thunder in a whole new land. Thank you, because Alan was at D23. Got to meet Big Josh. That's what I'm going to call him from right now. Some people call him Daddy Josh. I'm going to call him Big Josh from now on. Yeah, place beyond Big Thunder. And I'm trying to see, it's like how far beyond, let me share this tab. It's almost like how far beyond Big Thunder Mountain? Because here's Big Thunder Mountain, and then there's this canal here, because the riverboat for Rivers of America goes around, 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 around this way. So I'm guessing over here somehow. Wow, that's way close to Floridian Way. So I don't know. I don't know. See how that works. It's not impossible. It's going to be very interesting to see how that works. Rambran 3000 says, moral of that, treat your worst enemy's civil rights as your own because they are. Very good point. Very good point. Hey Lance, how you doing? Says, hey Beanie. Well, hey Beanie. Well, good. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you're doing. I know it's late over there where you are, my dear. Wow. Thank you for dropping out. Thank you for dropping in. And Goofar35 says Disney could put New Orleans somewhere near Encanto. Might not fit, but would not ruin Frontierland. And that is very interesting that you would say that. Bear with me here. Bear with me here. Okay, so you guys see this, right? I totally freaking did that wrong. Okay. So here's Colombia, Caribbean Sea, Gulf of Mexico empties out into the Caribbean Sea. There you go. So yeah, if you had, say, Encanto, then you would have Coco. Then, or better yet, Colombia, and better yet, yeah, that's how that would work. New Orleans literally right after Coco Land, in a way. All of that would have flowed realistically from the Caribbean, past Colombia, past Mexico, to New Orleans. That would work perfectly. But, hey, who are we? We're pundits on YouTube. It's on YouTube. All right. Alki Lance says we were rehearsing all evening, so need to watch some stuff to decompress. Wish you could see our play. Oh, well, thank you for watching to decompress. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so that's my back of the napkin analysis of what's going on. Again, rumor, but if I was a betting person, I would totally bet that this is going to happen. It's the desert theme part, maybe not. The New Orleans part, definitely. Totally see that happening. Question is, how good is the Imagineering going to be? So I don't like I don't like the idea of them retheming Frontierland, but I will wait and see what it is that they do. All right. Hey, back of the napkin calculations are vital. It's a part of my engineer DNA. We love doing something on the back of napkins. All right, so I'll tell you what. Why don't we end on a story that I just had to laugh when I saw this. And thanks again to Geeky Sparkles for finding this. So if you have ever been to Cosmic Rays, which is a quick service eatery over in Tomorrowland in the Magic Kingdom, there is an animatronic called Sunny Eclipse, and he kind of plays music. It's like going to Chuck E. Cheese seeing this dude. So he has like this, bossa nova music going on in the background, and it's cheesy fun, to watch. But it looks like Sunny Eclipse went down with a smoke and a leak, and not the way you think. Oh yeah, Cosmic Rays, discount Chuck E. Cheese. Yes. Yes. Anytime I talk to people about Cosmic Rays, we're like, which one is that? I was like, with the Chuck E. Cheese ripoff animatronic. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know who that is. I know who that is. So we got to get the vermin out of the restaurant somehow. This is such a fun animatronic. Actually, I missed it when they took it away for refurbishment. But to get to the story, Sunny Eclipse returned to Cosmic Ray Starlight Cafe about 2 months ago. That's true, recently. And he already went down. On Saturday nights, guests caught a video of the character leaking fluid and smoking. I'm guessing leaking hydraulic fluid and I guess smoke from, who knows what started smoking. Thankfully, the damage must have been minimal, but it sure was an odd experience for those in the restaurant at the time. So here's a video here. Shows what? And mute that there. So okay, so I see a little bit of smoke. A little bit of smoke coming out over here. And oh my gosh, it looks like animatronics taking a piss. If I was a kid, I would think this was the most hilarious thing. Oh man. Oh, you guys see it, right? That's such a shame. Yes, the keyboard, it didn't seem like it was the keyboard that was leaking fluid. It looked like the fluid was, yeah, I guess it would be the keyboard, although it looks like, okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but it still looks like the animatronic is taking a leak, you know. That's what it looks like. Hey, Irene Jacobson. This is late to the party. Hey, well, hello, my dear. Glad to see you. Glad to see you here. And no, not talking about that. Smoke from overheated electricals. Yes, very, very possible. Which is interesting, like the article said, and like I observed. This animatronic had been gone, and after about 2 months, then it came back, and everything, kind of looked like it was fine, like there was nothing wrong. But we've seen at Disney how there's certain rides that are, you know, The maintenance hasn't been too well, and you see rides going down that never did used to, you know, have problems. It used to be once in a blue moon that a ride would malfunction and they would have to take people off the attraction and shut it down. I remember one time Pirates of the Caribbean got shut down just because some idiot stepped out and, into the boat, but that was very, very, very rare. Boy, it must suck getting old. And Alan says weed and poor bladder control. Jillian said he was smoking something green and herbaceous. I tell you, this made me laugh when I heard it. It's like I have to laugh, but it's just a shame because this kind of stuff didn't used to happen. Goofar35 says, was he hanging around with Animal and his band earlier? I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I always thought Zoot was definitely one, smoking the weed. Rainbow 3000 says Lorena Creole, we're all little kids here, and it is hilarious. Alan says he looks like he needs to go back to rehab. Oh my gosh, Sonny's that age where smoking and leaking is just a part of life. Oh no, too bad you got stuck on a Ferris wheel. That's not fun. Hopefully if you did, you got stuck on the bottom and not all the way up on the top. The imaginary pirates boat ride. And why Sunny Eclipse? Shouldn't it be Sunny Eclipse? Probably a homage to Sunny from Sonny and Cher. That's what I think. That's what I think it is. That's why I think it's Sunny, Sonny. Yeah, I think that's why. Actually, down to the outfits. If you Google Sonny and Cher and you look at some of those 70s outfits that they had, yeah, it's not it's very similar. Very similar. So all right, people. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Shame some of my friends couldn't drop in, but life happens and turns out it is the last day for tax day. Oh no. Oh no, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Hopefully your little one didn't get to eat too much of that. So hopefully not. Jillian says if it's after Sunny Bono, they should have gone with the skiing theme. Just so wrong for that. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me for the Theme Park Geeks and Divas podcast. Please join me back here in 2 weeks, again on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern for Theme Park Therapy, where we basically vent and rave about our theme park lows and likes of late. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Please do hit that like button, and I will see you next time. Bye.